Well, in my experience, you can just open your eyes and see. And these people continually shed their slime like a snake skin and move somewhere else. So the Judaics turn to the Christians, turn to the Satanists, turn to the atheists. They had to do that last part real fast because apparently people were probably, I mean, in my time frame, everything changed real fast. So all those things kind of changed in my time frame. I noticed once the Christians handed me a pamphlet, and then I couldn't walk for a few days after. I knew. Um, Obviously, these are the same people because they look interbred, like they've been fucking each other for hundreds and thousands of years, and they have a history of being slaughtered for who they are and what they do, and chased out of where they are. And they're out here doing the Christians, Satanists, and atheists are doing the same pedophilia their fathers did when they were slaughtered in the Middle East and chased out of there. And then what happened is they shed their snake skin and they moved north through Europe and then through Western Europe and Eastern Europe and into America. And they cleansed all those races and replaced them with themselves, and that's why that religion is there. And so here we are with them ruling the world, and it's the same people in the same snake skin. They haven't even well, you know what? Actually, they did invent plastic surgery, so they have put on some masks and stuff. And I noticed their leaders were wearing masks at the start of, when COVID happened, as if that was going to, like, cover their face up. You can still see, like, if you know what you're looking for, you see the exact same thing there. But that's pretty fucking shitty. We're in some fake world where there's some sort of devil magic on this planet and shit. And they obviously use it because they've handed me, like I said, they handed me pamphlets once and I couldn't move for a few days after that. And the major thing they do, besides kill you and then rape your children and make half-breed soldiers to fill up the lands with slaves, as they did in Europe, East Europe, West Europe, and then America and Canada. And any other nation they've been allowed to touch. They did hit Russia. Russia had large fucking mass genocides because their people raised there, and now they worship them. So that's their. I think that's simply the sign of the devil there. If you have the Judaic star, the Christian, the Catholic, atheist, Satanist symbols, that means you are this one group who the world fucking has not been too appreciative of being mass pedophiles and slimy scumbags. I mean, but they win because slimy is a method, right? You can win with slime and lies and deception. I guess to a certain point until someone decides to say something about it. And all they do is say they're someone else. That's why that's not their only cult, right? They have a lot of other cults. And they're all, like, blaming someone else. Well, you can just look at them and tell that they're cousins who are having sex with each other at the very least. More like most of them look like mothers and children, sons who are having sex with each other have bred something from them. And there is definitely something going on there where they say the interbreeding fucks them up, but I don't think that's what it is. I mean, I really think they're just, the more they try to extend and conquer everything, the more the real creator just slices them to bits and shit. And that's what the plastic surgery and the filters and photoshopping is all about. I'm assuming trying to look human and deceive everyone else, the last few legs of the marathon, because, I mean, they've conquered 1/3 of the world already. I mean, obviously the rest of the world is done with it, and they're they're not able to conquer much anymore. They're not able to even secure their stolen lands as they're being conquered right now. But that's a lot. 1/3 of the world's a lot. It's a lot of land. It's safe to say if it weren't stopped, it would soon be over for everyone else on the entire planet. And we can't even actually say that some of the things going on aren't them working together, considering you have Catholics and battling the Christians, and it's like, I mean, battling for a landmass, and between the Christians being led by a person who looks like they're Abrahamic people, but everyone below them is being slaughtered and killed off. It doesn't look like them. Reminds me of Germany when supposedly there's a group they wanted to get rid of for whatever reason. Didn't look like them, but had to have one of them lead them to their fucking genocide so they could be taken over and shit. It seems to be a repeated pattern. I mean, they're not smart enough to come up with new patterns, and obviously if something works, why not keep trying it until it doesn't? And that is their Israel, Khazaria land. I mean, literally, the dumbasses there who don't look Khazarian are dying for the Abrahamic Zelensky, Khazaria guy. Whatever name you want to, you can call him whatever you want. People are like, what's an Abrahamic? What's that look like? Like, what's a dick look like? Do I have to explain that to you? Really? The gray-skinned people who all look fucking like rats? It's pretty easy. I guess they used to use beards to hide who they were, and today they use Photoshop and plastic surgery to look like Kim Kardashian instead of Rat Kardashian's fucking parents. Damn, dude, what's up with that? Really, the only thing I can think of why they look like that is because they're right about being cursed and shit. But they're probably also living in lands. They're poisoning the water and food in to kill everyone else, and that probably affects them too. When it doesn't kill them off completely. I used to be evil fuckers, dude. I've seen these people fucking take their children and fucking break slave labor laws, force them to work, and then take all their children, take everything from the child, and the child hasn't, it was just forced to work for nothing. Like, they literally, threw the fucking children's shit in the trash and stuff. And, well, that's my first experience with Christians. Fucking some arrogant, egotistical child rape. You're everyone's first experience with Christians, if you're a man, was them mutilating you at birth. Christians, Satanists, and atheists. But back then, and still, it's kind of only known that that's a Christian hospital, and only if you have a brain can you see that it also has the other signs. And then they slimed away after I was a child. Like I said, they slimed away twice within my fucking existence. So they're fucking slime on the run for some reason. I think it's likely they're preparing for another migration, and possibly preparing to. I mean, they've been opening the borders and destroying those other people that they've been conquering the last 1,000 years. So I think they, now that they've had their mindless minions in USA create their special land that they feel they have a safe place to run to. cutting off the fucking, trying to cut off the oxygen to those slave nations because you can't rule the world. The world's full of people who aren't you and stuff. Not if you're them, anyways. Not if you're slime. Doing it their methods and stuff. Fuck. Yeah. Isn't that crazy that those devils, like, I mean, that's the way they operate, right? The black magic practitioners fucking, they talk about filling their souls with ghosts and spirits so they can become stronger and better. And then they tell you, don't you dare fucking talk about anything like that. While they're literally doing it, this is them all day long. I mean, that's the Abrahamics. That's how they work. There were people who once fucking mutilated children, and then I don't really think God kicked them out of the Middle East for that. I think they started their little slime, their history of world sliming to hide and deceive who they are. When they overthrew Rome through subversion methods, and then they learned they could overthrow that country. They could probably overthrow any country. I mean, if you can overthrow Rome, you're pretty out there. And so this was thousands of years ago, before they overthrew USA, that they overthrew a greater continent, a greater collection of continents called Rome. USA is just one continent full of cattle. It's not great. They're the ones running the media telling you it's great, right? They could have been the ones running Rome telling you it's great too, and just, sucking all its life out of it. I mean, technically they were the people before that as well. They are the New World Order, Pharisees, Sadducees. Plenty of churches I've seen have the New World Order symbology on them, so they are the Pharisees and Sadducees themselves. But that's how that works. They're just manipulating scumbags. Many of you know that, right? You know when they come to your door, no one wants them there. They know no one wants them there. But they come there because, you know what I was realizing today? One reason they come there is because when they're fucking taking your time, they know that's your money and your blood. And they're so subversive of that, that they will fucking steal their enemy's blood through methods like that. Now, the black magic and shit they do, that's probably highly involved in this stuff. You ever notice every time you meet one, they need you to pray with them that their spirits and their ghosts and their demons fill you. You accept their spirits, ghosts, and demons. You are, and what happens is them being an alien race who watches over us and enslaves us. They have little rules that once you accept anything they've given you or accept something they've said, then now you owe them because you've accepted gifts from them. So not only have you accepted them to take over your mind and body, but now you owe them. Well, you better go give them some money, shouldn't you? You better give them some gifts. Isn't that odd? Because isn't that the next step there to accepting the spirits and the ghosts and the black witchcraft they give you? Same people. Just look at them. Have you ever seen anything different in any of their religions? No religion is allowed on this planet, or anti-religion, that isn't the special chosen black magic practitioners claiming they're the true religion of peace. Every single one of them, they're the true religion of peace. Yet they're speaking in some sort of weird devil magic shit. They're telling you to accept ghosts and spirits into you and give them money. And if you look around, they've already killed everyone around you, raped them, and replaced them with halflings, if not their very selves. Every nation they're in is a nation that was once someone else's, isn't it? Which nation are they in? Did not have a recent genocide where everyone was replaced. USA. Israel, Germany, Canada. They try real hard. Lots of South American places have been gone. South America's fighting back. And that's why they're actually waging war, and they're hiding it from you, and they're telling you, oh no, those people are coming and attacking us for no reason. Oh, there's no reason. That's very Christian of me. That's very Abrahamic of you, my friend. Very satanic, atheist, judaic of you. What a beautiful race they are. They're God's chosen race. Whatever race they are. Whoever chose them. I don't think it's God. They claim they're aliens, but I think they're too stupid, really, to be offshore, off planet. And I think they fully understand, having to be Elon Musk and NASA, that there is no space. And the only space is the emptiness between their brain that forces them to only be able to wage war through methods such as pedophilia and wickedness. And not just being mad about it and going chop, chop, slice, slice. Pedophilic scumbags as they need to be, but go and chop, go and manipulate not people who don't want to have sex with children like they do. Things like that. Or even pit each other against each other for those same reasons. As long as the country starts to get overrun, you gotta get rid of it, right? You notice in the recent war there, Hamas, the people we don't know who they are, behind masks, I've never seen pictures of them, don't attack churches. You know why? There's no point in attacking Israel if you don't attack the people who worship Israel. And there's no point in what you can do. You go to a nation, you cleanse out anyone who's not in a temple worshiping you, and now you have a nation of larger slaves. So there we go. There we go. Seems interesting there. I could see the reason for doing that. Especially after the little black magic trick they pulled on me where I couldn't fucking walk. And then they hit me again with a truck, and it was obviously the Abrahamics. You guys are pussies and faggots. You guys know damn well what I do to you since a child. I'm not a little vagina like you guys. The only fucking time I deceive you is about 2 seconds. So you stop hitting me, and then the knife goes into you when I'm fucking a kindergartner or something. The war has been on since then with you fucking losers having it. You fucking losers stealing everything from me, mutilating me as a child. I hope you like your COVID. I hope you like getting blamed for COVID too, bitches. You had to go through a lot of shit to block my life that year, didn't you? That's the end of your fucking existence. Too bad. And I won without becoming president. I won without taking you guys down that way, because I forced you to do a whole bunch of shit to try to prevent me from becoming president. That destroyed your entire fucking world's existence. Your nations, other nations, first world nations like Mexico aren't shut down like third world inbred pedophile nations, USA, Judea, worshipping scumbags with mental illness and shit from interbreeding for thousands of years. But yeah, dude. This is the same people, bro. My experience with them has been a long history of, starts with pedophilia the very second you're born, pedophilia and child sacrifice to Christians. I had a friend. I don't have any friends. I have a bunch of them in my life, keeping me from the other races. But I had a person talking to me, and all they keep saying is, "You're talking about that one group too much." It's like, okay, I'm going to talk about your other groups you slime too. How about that? They're all the same group, aren't they? Fucking get rid of them all. Fuck, dude. Not gonna fucking allow slime to trick me, dude. They beat that and raped that into me long enough when I was a kid and shit. And how do these pieces of shit know to use my picture to try to brainwash me that they're working for me? When they come from the enemy, they're using black magic on me. They fucking put children into slave labor and then steal their money from them, which might be because I know that because I was involved in that shit. And then I just, those are just everyday things they fucking do, I guess. What's the other shit they were doing? Fucking destroying anything, and I guess I must look half Gentile or something, so they destroy anything. I get an award from the president, I win a trophy, gotta destroy it and shit. I'm so jealous. I'm interbred and I'm low IQ. I couldn't do anything like that in my existence. No, I'm pretty sure it's a direct assault on Goyim. That's why, on non-them. That's why they marry into everyone else. To kill them off and enslave them. And make sure they don't go anywhere. That's how they stay at the top, because they take other people who are smart. That's why they hate the Chinese so much and try to keep them out of world affairs, because they know that they just don't have any chance there. And the Chinese play this awesome game where they don't fucking say anything. And well, they use drugs before, like they use on us. The Christians use drugs on their children to fucking, at least when they're fucking half Gentile children, they drug their children with the Ritalin. They just go to the doctor. There's schools, they're Christian schools and shit. And even though they're called public schools, it's the same thing. If it's USA, it's so gay. It's Christian all the way. Pedophile. In the public school is the government. The government is the hospitals who mutilate, sacrifice children 5,000 times a day for the Christians. If you don't think the government is the Christians doing the fucking, the Abrahamics doing the fucking child mutilation, you must be an Abrahamic, because your brain is fucking not working. You must be fucking your family too much, or your family must fuck your family too much, because the brain isn't working there, bro. Especially once you're told, You can't figure that out once you're told that the hospital is performing the child mutilation, has the Christian gang signs all over it, because the government allowing it is Christian. You should know that right away. You've told any of that shit, that the hospitals are doing that, whatever. The hospitals have the Christian sign. Well, it's a government institution. That's why they can perform pedophilia, and no one has the balls to go in there and chop them up to bits and fucking feed them to the dogs. As you should any pedophile, or any person who even looks like they're about to be a pedophile. We don't have time to wait for it to happen. Chop, chop. Whole damn buildings are full of them and shit. We don't have time to chop, chop anymore. All we got time is to drop bombs on these fuckers and shit. Fucking entire cities that we ain't got no place to run if the building only gets halfway hit and shit. Fuck. Yeah, well, it's a large war we got. And some sort of devil aliens. Not sure how they do it. I think it's like a game thing. Like a function in the game, how the Christians have black magic powers and shit. But, that... You've talked to them before, haven't you? All they do is try to get your head. They're constant. Every time you talk to them, they want you to say, "I let the spirit of the ghost into me and control me and guide me all the way." They are obsessed with that. They're like, and they do that more a day than they rape their children. 5,000 children sacrifices a day. You're telling me there's not something with either of those things. One is pure, and one is about getting you to worship. They're both about getting you to worship them. But there's something else to that when I can walk away from that and not walk very well a few minutes later and shit. They're extremely vicious and greedy. No one wants them around. No one wants them to talk to them, but they force their ways into your life. That's how they forced their way to get into Europe. They got rid of the Europeans It's how they forced their way into Germany. They got rid of the Germans. It's how they forced their way into Ukraine, getting rid of the Ukrainians. It's how they forced their way into Russia, getting rid of the Russians. How they forced their way into America. They slaughtered the Native Americans. That's how they forced their way into Canada. They slaughtered the Canadians. They've done that to many other places, South Africa. They've tried it to pretty much everywhere. They've done that to South Korea. They've done that to Vietnam. They've done that to Venezuela, who I guess just doesn't care and fights back still. And I've seen their shit in Mexico, but the Mexicans fight back. I've seen them I've seen them putting that on display, and their people like the whole ceremony of the entire city, large ass city, was like, I couldn't understand the language, but I could tell by the plays being put on. The plays were about those people coming over and trying to conquer them and shit. And yeah, I mean, I can tell by all this stuff. The game set up a real fucking intricate scenario there. I didn't need to know the language to see what was going on. And plus, I already knew what was going on. So seeing them put on plays about it and whole fucking excavation cities built around it was just that. I'm gonna assume that's when I was shown that the Christians are the New World Order too, because they had the churches there who'd slaughtered all the people in Mexico had built their churches out of the skulls of the people in Mexico and built the churches with the Illuminati, Pharisee, Sadducee pyramid, but it was a Christian church and all CNI. So yeah. Well, it appears that Pharisees and Sadducees have just been here for a long time, constantly shedding their skin because every 70 to 300 years. Well, I'm not sure if anyone ever actually disliked them or if they just understood that after that time frame it works best if they shed their skin and call themselves something else. And no one will ever catch on after that. But I'm assuming they left their mark because the game forces them to brag about who they are and leave marks. But there's a small chance they leave those marks, like the Masons say they left marks because so they can know they have a safe place in the nations they're invading. They didn't say nations they're invading, but they're being chased out of other nations for some reason. Like, yeah, you just overthrew Rome. I wonder why you're being chased out of Rome. You just probably overthrew Egypt. I wonder why you're being chased out of there. You just overthrew USA. Oh, wait a minute. You're pedophiles fucking using black magic in USA. You fucking... That'd be a better reason, but I don't think no one understands. I don't think no one cares, because they're all them, aren't they? They've all been replaced by half-breeds. And people are such Nazis, none of them are going to turn on a half-breed family and be like, oh, well, I guess I'm half-privileged now. And me, I'm like, oh, I'm half-demon? I guess we kill them all, and then we fucking have to kill me at the end of it. Like, I got more fucking honor than that and shit. I really think my royalty comes from it comes from a side that they tried to fucking separate me from, because that was the side working with royalty and shit, fucking acting like it, so they hated it. So. Yeah, pretty sure they're doing the same things. It's like if a tiger out here goes around like being a tiger, and then the tiger like go gets a can of paint, white paint, and just pours it on itself, and it's still got like a few orange and black stripes like laying about, and it's like I'm not a tiger anymore. I don't eat frosted flakes. I only eat Fruit Loops now. I'm a toucan bird. And you're like, but you don't know how to fly, motherfucker. It's like, you shut up or I'm going to rape your children and fucking pray with me in the name of the Holy Spirits that are going to demon infest in my body. Ha ha. Or else your family gets it like all the nations were fucking invaded and genocided. And you're like, wait a minute, I thought you weren't a tiger. You don't sound like a toucan bird to me. Shut up. Shut up and go to work and give me some money. Ha ha ha. No, like, you deal with that for them too, and that's what they do to everyone, is just fucking force them to go to work and then steal everything from them and shit. It doesn't matter if you're a kid or not. But they're bringing child slave labor laws to force you to work, build their world for them, and just burn your money like it's a fucking sacrificial altar and shit. That's what they're doing to everyone, whether you see it that way or not, but they're literally doing that shit. Okay? And I assume that's a half-breed thing. They do that to the half-breeds. They have to train the people that they've slaughtered and then raped. They have to train their half-offspring that they're just trash. I'm going to assume that that's that. I mean, if not, that's just what they do to each other and shit. Pretty fucking sick people. But it's definitely, you can see that in this society, that it's a metaphor for what they do. They give you a couple bucks, but they force you to work, and then they send people up to you to take shit from you other ways. That's how they work together. The little alien species works together like that. Anyways, yeah, they're doing the same thing that they used to do. Their books even tell them not to do, and they don't give a shit. All they give a shit about is making sure they take all your time and money and your land. And this won't even get out anywhere, because what land isn't theirs that I'm allowed to fucking speak to? They brought in other slave races. And some of those slave races they really hate because they think you're really stupid and never going to do anything in life except for throw a basketball through a hoop and make music and shit. I don't even think they thought you were smart enough to be able to do that back then, though. So, hope is where it can be found. But they still don't like you, and they haven't bred into that as much. Like, they do that anyone that gets into Hollywood, like Kanye West and shit like that. Oh, Michael Jordan said something about him, or Jackson, and then they forced his record company to put out a new edit of his song. So there's two different versions of his song, or technically three, because they put out the second version in two different videos, I think, which, to muck it down more, I'm quite sure. But the original is definitely the original. Fucking, it still doesn't go quite as far as I just did. What I just did was something I've never heard before, but I know I see it. And everything I just said I've seen happen in this world. Yeah. You've never been to a hospital, you don't know what they're doing over there? Why would I have to make up the other shit? I don't have to make up stuff to fucking find an enemy in someone. I wouldn't have to hate this world if there wasn't a reason to hate it. If there wasn't a bunch of shit I've been through. And really, there's not a bunch of shit. There's some pretty fucking large shit I've been through that caused me never to go around the world. That's probably part of their fucking little method there, is making sure that other people... It is. They come in between me and other races. And this has been going on since I was a child, separating me from other races. And I'm sure, considering how deep this alien gang is in my life, that they're involved in that as well. Because they were right there every fucking step of the way. If they weren't right there, they were going to be right there around me fucking 4 hours later. Pretty much every step of the way. One of them was there to say yes, like, yes, drug him, steal everything from him, do it. Take him away from the Asian people. He's ours now. Scumbags, dude. Oh my god, we gotta get rid of these fuckers.